in between Harry Gant and Rusty, and there is Dale Jarrett's bumper cam once again. Oh, look at that. That's, of course, Terry Labonte in the number 94 car, and that team has had a change of crew chief since we visited with you last 2 weeks ago. Dewey Livengood is now the crew chief on that car, replacing Steve Lloyd. There is Mark Martin now challenging Alan Kulwicki for second position. Again, the cars swing out of turn number 1 and go down the 3,055-foot long pond straightaway. It takes them to the tunnel turn. And now Mark Martin caught on the outside and is going to lose positions. Look at this battle, though. There is Dale Earnhardt, Davey Allison, and Harry Gant. A couple of those 3 cars that John talked about earlier.
And look how much Harry Gant backed off. Davey backed off a little bit. Earnhardt just shot out from the middle of that trio going into that turn. It was smart that somebody backed off.
And the number 13 car has crashed. That is Gary Belo. Looks like he has had hard contact with the wall and also involved the number 44 car, and that would be Herb Hare.
Herb Hare looks like he just spun and not hit anything. He's back underway, but Gary Belo, some heavy damage. As a caution flag waves, all the cars are slowing down.
Our first caution of the day comes out for a 2-car incident, and here it is.
We see Belo going in the corner, lose control, go up and smack in the wall, and we saw Herb Hare go by sideways. He later lost control. And look at the gasoline coming out of that car. Is he forced that that car didn't catch on fire?
He sure is, but there is no fire. The car, however, is in the middle of the racetrack. Stop there. We can see some movement inside the cockpit, and so it appears as if Gary Belo is okay. But it does bring out our first caution of the day, and the field is under the pace truck once again. Let's take another look at it.
And watch when he backs up in the wall, the liquid coming out of the rear. That is gasoline. There's Belo going up. Car still hasn't hit anything. There, Herb Hare goes by. Just barely looks like he might have touched him as he went by. Now he hits the wall. And we see that's tire smoke we're seeing now. But watch the gasoline as it comes out of the car. Wow.
Yeah, it's leaking gas as it comes off the wall and stops in the middle of the racetrack.
I mentioned a moment ago that Bill Venturini had come into the pits, Bob. He since has taken the car behind the wall. Bill, one of the top ARCA drivers, finished 5th yesterday.
And another crash.
Rick Wilson's in the wall, and he barely backed across that racetrack right in front of someone. Oh, Ricky, you're so lucky.
Very close call. It's like Rick Wilson has damaged the back end of his Stobola Brothers Snickers car rather badly as the safety vehicle has arrived on the scene, but he's going to be able to pull away. It is, however, the second caution period of the afternoon. Got a replay of the crash, see if we can determine what happened.
We don't know exactly what happened. He did not lose control exactly like Belo did before, but watch as he goes right in front of him. Who was that? Was that Musgrave?
I think it was, yeah. It was Ted Musgrave. Close call for Rick Wilson. He heads for the pit area to see if the car can be repaired and put into racing form once again. There is quite a bit of damage on the back end of that Buick. You're watching live coverage of the Miller Genuine Draft 500 from Pocono. We'll be right back.
Yesterday afternoon, while he was out trying to make his car run faster, Luke coming off turn 3, but as you can see, did not hit anything. Earnhardt stood on the inside trying to make a move.
That's Ricky Rudd beside him. He does make a pass on Rudd, and here comes Rusty Wallace right behind him.
Rusty's just letting Earnhardt cut the trail down there, and he just followed him right through.
Well, Rusty Wallace on the first lap got it high in turn 1, lost a lot of spots, but he is coming back to the front fast. That 5 car, we talked about shifting earlier. That 5 car is shifting. Right now, he is in 3rd gear, which is, as Ned said, a 1-1. Rusty's going to take a look on the inside of Earnhardt and takes the spot away.
He sure does. Moving into turn number 3, Rusty Wallace picks up a position on Dale Earnhardt.
And there's a spin up here. Looks like Michael Waltrip.
And some fire seen from that car. Michael Waltrip's Pennzoil Pontiac stopped in turn number 3. We did see some flame coming out of it earlier. I don't see any right now, but Michael has taken a hard shot into the outside wall in turn number 3.
And the fire truck is there immediately. Crew jumps off.
Can you believe the Waltrip bad luck with Darrell 2 weeks ago, and now Michael Waltrip is involved in a crash, and the yellow flag is out for the 3rd time. And
there's Michael getting out of boy, Mikey.
He's climbing out. Appears to be okay.
Well, he
surveying the damage. Yep, he sure did. Here's a look at it. Turn 3 was the scene of the crash.
It looks like that the 66 car of Lake Speed might have just touched him as he went in the corner. I mean, again, that is purely speculation. Lake Speed was right behind him, and we can see the car, I would imagine, did exactly like Gary Belou's car. It ruptured the gas tank. As it hit the wall, some fuel came out, and thank goodness for the rubber gas tanks these cars have, which immediately stopped the flow of fuel.
And thank goodness Michael is out of it, walking around, surveying the damage, and he can see once he went to the back end of that car. He looked at the front first. He probably didn't look too bad up there, but once he walked around to the back,
he's looking for a driver. Wait a minute, he's looking for a driver to shake his fist at, I guess.
I believe he is too.
Or maybe he's walking to the ambulance.
No. Yeah, he's definitely pointing at someone, and it is at the 66 car of Lake Speed that Michael thinks perhaps had some contact with it. Now we take a look at it from the in-car camera of Lake Speed. So Phillips 66 in-car cam.
He's on the inside of Michael. He's trying to get by going in at turn 3. Michael is on the outside. There's Sterling Marlin. Michael still hasn't come in the screen, and there we see Michael come down, and he just gets touched in the left rear.
And then the car sliding up toward the wall. Let's take a look at it in real time. Let's go to Jerry Punch, who's with Billy Engel.
That's Strickland. That Rebestis Buick pulls right on the back bump of Ernie. Ernie looks like he might be being held up just a tick by Elliott. And look at Kowicki. He's closed up on the back bumper of Schrader. Kowicki has a great run going today, man.
He does have a car. Looks like he's handling well and running well, too.
He looked to the outside of Schrader, which came to the inside of the track. But of course, you don't want to get caught in that outside line, so Kowicki very wisely dropped in behind Ken Schrader and maintained 2nd position. Another crash involving several cars.
Ooh, big time crash over that time.
Derek Cope and Jimmy Spencer are 2 of those involved, and there are others. A lot of dust kicked up when a car gets down into that grass. There is just very limited visibility. We saw that in the Sportsman race yesterday. It's been very dry here in Pocono, and that grass is very, very. Davey Allison is one of those involved with extensive damage on the left front of his Hellman Ford.
And there's an oil cooler back there. That is tire smoke that we're seeing now. It doesn't appear as though the cooler so far has been broken, but there is an oil cooler back there. And Davey's in the grass. Evidently, he can't steer the car because he is in the grass.
Yeah, he wouldn't have just pulled down there anyway.
He's trying his best to get back.
Yeah.
All right, let's watch what happened. The accident is happening in front of Davey Allison. That's Dave Marcus in the 71 car.
Marcus backs off when he sees the crash, hits the brakes hard. Davey just can't get stopped. And there's the crash starting. There's Derek Cope, the Purelator Chevrolet, spinning. He goes up the racetrack and watches he and Jimmy Spencer meet head on.
There's Rick Mast coming in. He gets his car slowed down, the car number 1, and Marcus spins, and then...
I'm sorry, I thought that was not Rick Mast's car.
Spencer hits the car number 10 then, who is sitting right in front of him.
And here it is from another angle.
There we see some contact between Morgan Shepherd. He's on the inside, and the Derek Cope Purelator Chevrolet, as I mentioned a moment ago. Now, I thought this red car, that Morgan, I thought that's fellow who they hit nose to nose, but he stops, and then Spencer comes along, and look how he jacks that rear end up off the ground.
He hit him hard. Well, it's lap number 21. We should be seeing a massive amount of pit stops here in our 4th caution of the day. Here it is from Lake Speed's in-car camera.
There we see the wreck starting. Lake sees the smoke. He backs off. Ooh.
He didn't know where he was going for, but he couldn't see.
Yeah, the visibility was virtually zero.
Harry Gant, Chad Little, and Ernie Irvan, followed by the 2-car of Rusty Wallace.
Now Irvan moves to the inside of Chad Little. Harry Hyde is the crew chief on that car for the remainder. And look at Rusty Wallace and Mark Martin playing tag out there.
Martin's trying to get by Rusty, and Rusty has nothing to do with it, so he kind of blocked him down the straightaway. When that happens, the driver's kind of telling the fellow behind him, look, I can get to the corner better than you can. The only reason you're outrunning me is because of the draft. Just follow me. That's what he's trying to tell Martin. And Martin is not listening. He's not listening.
3 wide going through here. Something's got to give. Mark Martin will hit the brakes and fall in behind Chad Little.
That's the difference in shifting and not shifting. Is the 2-car shifting now?
The 2-car is shifting.
I'm surprised that Martin was able to drive by him down the back straightaway line.
Well, the 6-car is also shifting.
I know that.
I understand, yeah.
I was going to say that was the advantage that the 6-car had. Oh, there's a spin back behind them.
Spin up in turn 3. Terry Labonte is involved.
I don't think Terry's hit anything yet. I think it's just fun.
However, there is a car that is up against the wall in turn number 3.
It looked like Ted Musgraves. I'm not sure. We'll
see that or Dick Trickle. I don't know either. There's Terry Labonte, who doesn't appear to be hurt as far as the car is concerned. I think he just did sloop it and not hit anything. However, there is a car up against the wall in turn number 3.
I don't know what the rule is when pit road is closed like that and you spin on the pit road.
The 24 car of Dick Trickle, you were right, Bob,
yep.
that hit the wall there. A lot of damage to his car as he comes into the pits.
Okay, we have a replay of it. Watch the top of your screen.
There we see Trickle's car and Labonte. Both of them go up. And Labonte just barely missed the wall, but Trickle was not that fortunate. And Labonte goes right down between cars. And watch as Sterling Marlin almost clobbers the 94 car.
Labonte was able to drive into the pits, and so was Dick Trickle in the 24 car. A lot more damage to the 24 than the 94, however. But Labonte does remain on pit road for the moment as the 5th caution flag of the day is displayed. And here's another angle from our camera being handheld on the flag stand. Looks like there may have been some contact between those 2 cars before they slid up into the wall.
When the cars spin like that normally you would think there was some contact. And all the accidents today that we've seen, with the lone exception of the 1 car, there was no contact.
And here is another angle of the incident. Yeah, we couldn't really see the contact there.
Oh, there might have been some contact up earlier. There was no contact between Labonte and Dick Trickle. As a matter of fact, Labonte was the victim of circumstances, and there is some damage to the left side of that car. He hit Trickle. He went between Trickle and the wall, and there is some damage to the left side. I wondered why Labonte came in the pits rather than going around. I understand now because there is some damage.
The yellow has come out once again here at Pocono because of a crash back in turn number 2. We see a car that has slid to the inside and picked up some dust. It appears to be the number 64 car, and that would be Gary Wright's machine.
Boy, this is going to be a break for some drivers, Bob, who had not made a pit stop. Bad break for others. Ricky Rudd went a lap down when he made his pit stop, and I don't think he beat Schrader back to the line, did he, Benny?
That was my question. I don't know which one if the caution fell before or after they got to the line. If it was after, I would think that Schrader would probably let the 5 car go by. So we'll just...
Well, evidently, Schrader did get the caution because he has slowed down and Rudd is slow behind him. So evidently they did get the caution. Let's go to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Back at Pocono International Raceway, and you're looking at a thermometer, thermometer inside Jeff Bodine's car. It's reading 115 degrees inside that car. That's
under
not
caution.
too bad.
Not too bad. That's under caution right now. The green flag's coming out. I believe we're ready to go green flag racing again. Yes, indeed we are. We'll see if that goes up once the gets the RPMs of that engine revved up.
You figure it's 92 or so outside. 115 isn't bad inside a closed race car. Into turn number 1. Richard Petty, who is running in 6th position at the moment.
goes by. That's John Paul Jr., car 53.
Making his first Winston Cup start, by the way. The leader of the race is Ernie Irvan.
Ricky Rudd in the Tide Chevrolet right in front of Irvin is a lap down, right on the tail end of the lead. And he's trying his desperately to get that lap back.
Bobby Hillen running there in fifth position. Rusty Wallace and Dale Earnhardt are ahead of these two. King, Richard Petty. It's a wild card that he'll be playing later this afternoon. King Richards' best finish of the year came here at Pocono. He finished 11th. He was also 11th at Richmond earlier in the year. Pocono has been good to the King over the years. He has won on this racetrack twice, in 1974 and 1976.
There we see Sterling Marlin, who lost a lap earlier with a flat tire, trying to get one of his laps down. He's on the move, trying to get inside Rudd, who is trying desperately to stay in front of Ernie Irvan. And look at Sterling Marlin go.
And look at that Strickland. He says, okay, Sterling, if you want to lead the way, I'll join you.
Ooh, baby. That was so close.
That's great it was.
Now the battle for the lead continues. Sterling.
Look at Rusty Wallace on the inside in the dirt. Right. Oh.
He had the left side tires down where you just don't go.
Oh, and a spin.
Hut Strickland.
And Richard Petty.
A massive crash coming off turn number 3.
The racetrack is completely blocked. There's Dale Earnhardt backing down the racetrack.
Darrell Waltrip is involved. Dale Earnhardt, Ricky Rudd, Bobby Hillen, King Richard almost flipped, but he is among those that is running.
There's Earnhardt's car. We see some heavy damage to the left front.
Rudd pulling away.
Here comes Rudd pulling away, as is Alan Kowicki, and Dale Earnhardt is headed the wrong way on the racetrack, but now comes into pit road.
We see some heavy damage to that 42 car right in the left side of the screen.
Darrell Waltrip is against the inside wall. There's the King, and there's Darrell Waltrip's battered Western Auto Lumina.
We can see the damage that he's done to the guardrail. See the forward sign?
Oh, yeah.
How the guardrail is bent where Darrell has run into it. So there's some obvious and heavy damage to the front of his car. We see the emergency people talking to Darrell.
It looks like he was trying to start the car, and maybe he was thinking about getting going again. Let's hope that is the situation. The 25 car is also on pit road, as is Dale Earnhardt. Well, it all happened as Hut Strickland and Ernie Irvan were battling for the lead in turn 3.
They're coming off the corner. Ernie runs up and just touches the 12 car in the back enough to send him spinning. Hut almost saves it, but then he goes back across the racetrack, and look at Richard go over the nose of that 5 car. Here comes Earnhardt. He hits the 5. The 42 car comes off the wall, and boom, Darrell Waltrip hits the 42 car and then goes into the inside retaining wall.
I'll tell you, it's lucky that somebody didn't hit the abutment there separating the racetrack and pit road.
Here it is again, Hut up high. And you see, when they're coming off that turn, fellas, they can't just cut those cars to the left and get out of the way, because the momentum is going to the outside of the track. And so when something's in the way out there, they just aren't able to do much with the cars.
There we see the 42 car once again right in the smoke as he comes off.
Now, I have to keep my eye on Dale Jarrett. You know, he's sort of coming down through there for the 4th time today. He has weaved his way through one of those things. The gods are riding with him.
Here it is from the speed shot. You can see how Richard Petty's car gets way up in the air. It goes over the nose of 2 others.
And comes back down, luckily, on its wheels.
Strickland spins down to the end of pit road and out of the way of the other cars, at least.
There we see the 42 car once again just spin right in front of Darrell Waltrip.
As far as the cleanup here on the main straightaway, both Bobby Hillen's and Darrell Waltrip's cars are on the hook, being taken off of the racetrack, and it appears as if all drivers are in pretty good shape. But a lot of work has to be done on pit road to get some of these cars back in action. Back in a moment. There is the area here on the main straightaway. Darrell Waltrip hit that inside wall and caused the damage. Now, a replay of the crash from Dale Jarrett's in-car camera. Let's listen.
And that's the thing that you want to do when the wreck is over. Get out of there as soon as you can, because somebody's going to come and tag you if you don't.
You know what that shot reminded me of? Remember Days of Thunder when Cole Trickle drove through the crash? That looked exactly the way it was. Let's go to Jerry Punch on pit road. He's going to drive away. He's going to drive away, though. He'll probably be back out again.
He ran over something.
Yeah, he ran over.
Yeah.
Back at Pocono, and the caution light is on again for the 10th time this afternoon, and it's because of Richard Petty's crash up in turn number 1. He hit the wall, turn number 1 pretty hard, started to drive away, but then couldn't.
We see he's got down in the dirt. It looked like the left rear tire was flat. He goes in the wall nose first. What is that rolling across the racetrack? There's something off Richard's car going across the racetrack? Boom, right now it hits the wall. So I don't know what that is, but evidently that's what caused the crash.
Could the tire have come off the rim?
I don't know, Ned.
Hard to say. Anyway,
There was something round that rolled, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. King Richard remains in the car while the tow truck pulls to the front of it. And now we will, as we see the record for the most cautions, 13, and so far we have had 10 today. We will be seeing some pit stops, undoubtedly.